Jay here for Stretford Paddock. That's Joe Smith. Aston Villa 2, Manchester United 1. The Reds losing at Villa Park. Joe, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go straight in here. We'll get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Look, I'm sick of seeing United dropping points. It was frustrating, the goals we conceded. But right now, in this review, I'm going to be honest, I don't feel that bad. I thought United turned up. We went for it. Yes, we conceded some, a carbon copy of the first goal, which isn't acceptable. But considering the amount of players we lost, considering the players we lost within the game, and considering the fact that I felt could have gone either way, I don't think that was a bad performance by Manchester United today. I thought that, if United can turn up like that and go for it against more teams, we'll be all right. My issue is, and I think Tom Cooney said it on the Watch Long. My issue is we haven't seen that enough from Manchester United. Today was fine. That's what I want to see. We just need to see more of it consistently. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, United were the better team. I think they had two moments of brilliance, and that's not to say they didn't do anything outside of that. Villa was still decent. They weren't at their best, but part of that's because United played well. But some of the chances that United had, Cesco had a 1-1 with the keeper. That header by Cunha is you just have to score that.
You've got to.
There's no. I'd put anyone in this office in front of goal and tell them they had to score that. It's just one of those you can't miss. But United played well. We had more of the ball. We looked more composed. We didn't get dominated in transition. Unfortunately, we conceded the same goal kind of twice, and it was switching off. We'll get into sort of the details of it, I'm sure, but it wasn't a case of them counter-attacking and playing through us really easily like we've seen. There was a bit less of that. And we looked dangerous. We held the ball well. Mason Mount was excellent. We had some unfortunate injuries, mainly before the game, Bruno during the game. Then obviously you've got the players who've been out for a little while in De Ligt and Maguire. You've got the lads who've just gone off to AFCON. It was a much depleted team, and it was one that still showed a lot of the things that we want from Man United. It showed desire, it showed work, it showed quality at times. I thought it showed more of a tactical awareness as well, and a composure, and especially with Martinez in midfield, who I thought was excellent in there. Yeah. It's hard to criticise him too much, and I know my general demeanour is trying to be positive and optimistic, but I think most people would have to say we were certainly as good as Villa today, probably better than Aston Villa today. And when you're the better team and you make enough chances to win the game, if you miss those chances, you lose. I think we sort of have to decide what this season is. Is it one where we're looking for obvious improvements in terms of demeanour, in terms of work rate, in terms of quality, in terms of tactical understanding, or is it one where it's going to be defined by whether we get Champions League football or not? Because I think if it's the former, I saw a lot of improvements today over last season. I saw a lot of that against Bournemouth as well. Again, 2 results that you don't want, but 2 games where you watch it and go, I can see why things might get better from here, rather than it feels as though Man United are going backwards. So it's a really tough one because you want to win the game. But I think United were the better team today, and that's, to a certain extent, all you can ask for. You can't make the players put the ball in the back of the net. It's infuriating.
No, I almost forgot about that Cunha miss. And look, Cunha got a goal today. I won't be too harsh on the kid, but it was a poor header, really. He should have scored. And I think he should have hit the target, and I think if he hits the target, he scores. I'll get into loads of people in the comments in the chat. Bit of a mixed bag. So I will try and go through everything here, because there's some people who are still criticising Ruben Amorim. Some people being a little bit more sort of supportive. We'll get into it all. I'm going to read out a load of comments and I'll come back to you, Joe, and we'll get some stats and hopefully some quotes as well here from the manager or anyone else. T-Dog just says Amorim out. Kevin Reese 6475 says deserved at least a point, done by 2 goals against the run of play. However, Arishal Mohammed Adriza says the board needs to grow up here and get rid. We've got a few super chats. Guts Doyle says sick of the excuses. Subs yet again crazy. 7 at the back when Bruno off. You play 4 with Butcher and Ugarte in 2, just behind Cesco. Spineless. Guts Doyle says Dorgo, Delo, shit in attack and caught upfield. So I don't think he's feeling it at the minute, I'll be honest with you. Stream is full of crybabies. That's their name, not me being critical of people in the stream. Says we're done as a club if defeats are getting praised. Paul Digill says it could have gone either way. I trust Amorim. I do think it could have gone either way, and I said that earlier. Ross Murphy says Cunha didn't have a bad game, but he missed 2 very good chances. He could have had a hat-trick. Rick Nick 74, I wonder if that's my mate Rick Nick, says wing-backs are both not good enough. Graham Shaw says 3 centre-backs is a joke. Also, hands up for the Panther. It says fans still moaning, angry psychopaths and sad clowns in the chat. Yes, I do look down on some of these fans. constant manager out and abuse players, lost calls. Rodgers is amazing, deal with it, not our day. Look, I've been pretty critical of Ruben Amorim over the last couple of months. After the Everton game in particular, I was fuming. I was pretty annoyed after the West Ham game, not going to lie to you. And I don't think we can, say drawing it onto Bournemouth is a good result. However, I thought there were better signs there. But I'm not miffed with the managers today. I'm not. I thought the Mainu injury answered that question straight away. And I think he's injured. I know there's some conspiracy theories floating around. I think if he wasn't injured, the manager would have said, I've dropped him from the squad, and he'll tell you why, or he knows why, or whatever. I think Amorim's nothing if he's not honest. So I think the Mainu injury, that's why Mainu's not in the team. He's not available, and I believe that. So then you put in Ugarte, who's your only other option. Then you lose Bruno at half-time. We talk about, youth, courage, success as being the byword of Manchester United. He went with it with the youngsters. He brings on Jack Fletcher. He brings on Shea Lacey. I thought that was a bold move. I've not got a problem with that. I'm never going to moan at a Manchester United manager for bringing on attackers. Also, United had more possession and we went for it a lot more. Now, I'm not sat here going, yes, it's great we lost. I would never ever say that. However, I thought in terms of the performance, that was much better from Manchester United. You can have a better performance and lose a match and have a worse performance and draw it. That was better than we played against West Ham. Probably 100%. Better than we played against Bournemouth, to be honest with you. And it was definitely better than we played against Everton. And I know we lost that game, but Everton were down 10 men and aren't that good. Villa are on a 9-game winning streak. And yes, we have to look at things. Lenny Yoro, who is a very good player, by the way, I'm not trying to throw the kid under the bus, has to do better for those 2 goals. Other players as well have to do better in certain situations. We can say all that. But on the whole, it's a better performance from Manchester United. I just want to see more of that fight, more of that determination, more of that sort of attack-mindedness from this team that we saw today. I want to see that in the next game. I think we've got Newcastle, is it Boxing Day?
Yep.
We go in that game and play like that against Newcastle. I fancy us for it, and we should do. What I don't want to see is us go in that game against Newcastle. Maybe we get a goal, maybe not, and then just try and shut up shop or try and keep holding the ball. None of that. Go for it. That's what I want to see more of. And I know we were chasing the game for large chunks of it, but we were on the front foot, and that's what Manchester United should be about. Sorry, Joe. Before we get into some more chats and comments, and we will do, I want to talk a little bit about one positive today. Mason Mount, you've been a big champion of his. Probably the second successive away game where he's been absolutely mint.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. His work rate's excellent. He brings more out of his teammates. When he plays, the whole team has that energy. And you very rarely say to yourself, United look flat today. When Mason Mount starts, Man United look up for it. And that's a massive compliment, I think. I'm not saying it's all down to him. But a lot of the games this season where we've come out looking flat, Mason Mount wasn't on the pitch. I think he brings a lot and he's got quality as well. And we're seeing more of that quality. I think when he first came back from injury, we saw the work rate and the run-in, but we didn't quite see the quality and the touches because he'd barely played for 2 years. Now we're starting to see a player that is confident on the ball, some of the little touches to go past players, some of the crosses into the box, the way he brings his teammates into the game. He looks excellent. And again, I want to move away from it. I'm not saying that we're never going to talk about the future of the manager. Obviously, that would be absurd. But I don't feel as though every single game has to be a sit-down fucking parents' evening about Amorim's future at Manchester United. Like, when you watch a game like that, that isn't the sort of loss that you sack your manager after. I don't even think it's the one where you start to question it. I think when you look at what Arteta did at Arsenal, and there was people a few months ago and last season, people would speak about Man United and say the difference between Arteta and Amorim is that when Arteta was dropping points and losing games, you could see what he was trying to do. The performances were getting better. But that wasn't the case with Amorim. I think that is the case with Man United. I think Man United's performances this season have been a lot better than last season. And we should have more points. And we're dropping points in silly ways. And, we mentioned Yoro for the first goal. I think Heaven needs to do better for the second one. He lets Ollie Watkins across him to block that cross and to get in the way of that because he's a little bit on his heels. And I think he was caught out by the trickiness of the cross because it looked like Dallo was going to get there. And then the cross came in and Heaven didn't react quickly enough. So I think there was just, and it's just little slips and lapses like that cost you games when you're playing against players like Morgan Rogers who are as in form as they are. But I don't think you look at that performance today and say, no, the manager's not setting these guys up right, or the manager didn't give us an opportunity to win, or the players aren't playing for the manager. None of those things are true. Man United were the better team today. We made chances, we worked hard, we had some good quality and some bad quality, but I think that the manager gave us a very good chance of winning today. And that's all you can ask from the manager. The rest is on the players. I think if you, over the next 100 games, if Amorim's the manager for all of them, and he makes us be sets us up in a way where the players can be the better team in all of those games, we will do very, very well in the Premier League. Like, the problem has been that we've looked so bad in so many games, but that isn't the case here. It just isn't. And the last few weeks, it hasn't really been the case. It's certainly since the West Ham game.
No, I completely agree there, bro. Loads of people in the chat. Again, keep them coming. Someone who's not a United fan in there saying, lol, nothing better than watching Manx cry. Cool. It's a Villa fan, up the Villa. Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Nice. We need to talk about Cesco. Says Mac Pack Games. We'll get to that in a minute. James John says those injuries are going to be excuses. Injuries are part of the game. Yeah, I understand that, but we are missing a lot of players at the minute. I mean, Maguire, De Ligt, Mazraoui, and Mbumo, Casemiro, Ahmad. Bruno goes off at half-time. Kobe Mainoo, who would have probably started today, isn't available. 80 players there that were probably going to be involved is a lot, even by most standards. So I do sympathise. I'm not one to make excuses with injuries. I'm certainly not one to make excuses with Ruben Amorim. But I do feel for him because that is a lot of players to be missing at the same time, especially when you sort of set up one way and then you lose your captain who never gets injured. More or less after 40 minutes, he was done for, wasn't he? John Dorian Turkleton says, outplaying a team, winning 9 on the bounce with so many key absences and 2 teenagers in defence. This is a positive, and if you refuse to see that, more perspective and less entitlement is needed. Bernard Berg says, you guys are the only people who talk sense in a review and don't try to get clicks. Mad Dragon says, it is Joe. I agree. Joel, speaking facts as always, says Sam Crook. Because that's not either of our names. That could be either of us.
I think he's talking about Joel. Which is both of us. Yeah.
Graham Shaw says, tactically crap. Waste of players at the back. So he's not having it. Our young defensive core is killing us, says Adrian Nerb.
I mean, it is costing us. You've got inexperienced players who are very talented, but aren't the finished article yet. They're going to cost you games at times. This is the thing. Like we always say, or I try to say, players win you games. Tactics help, and tactics are a great sort of foundation and blueprint for you to give those players an opportunity to win. But it's the players that win you the games, defensively and offensively. If you block the ball better, if you finish better, United win today. It's literally that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All it takes is one of those goals not to go in, and one of our extra chances to go in. We've won. This was a game that was very, very finely balanced, and if with a little bit more quality, United would have won. Or even just toss that coin again. Does Cunha's header go in? Oh yes, it does. United get a draw at least, or maybe go on to win it. Like it's not, there's not that much more to read into it. We weren't bad. We were the better team. We had more of the ball. And I personally think, we talk about the manager's subs, I want to talk about Martinez in defensive midfield.
Please do. I'll get some comments and chat in a minute. Go on.
People like to criticise Bruno and his sort of, he's erratic. He takes too many chances, and I do think to an extent that that's true. And I thought that Martinez kind of just showed both him and Casemiro. He didn't show him up. That's a weird echo. That's freaking me out. He didn't show him up by any means, but he showed that Man United need to have more control in the middle. And I think that Casemiro and Bruno could both learn a little bit from the way Martinez played today, where he's coming in there and he takes his time on the ball. He plays passes that aren't the most obvious pass every time, and he helped us progress the ball really well. I thought he was exceptional in midfield.
No, he did really well in midfield, Alessandro Martinez. You can see the qualities he's got on the ball. Pablo Da Costa says, Licha in CDM is fire. Getting some more, quite a lot of super chats as well.
What people saying?
Averma says, he's been a member of the Academy for 56 months, says XG Philosophy Twitter, whoever that is, said we dominate the game and XG and we lose, and guess what happened? We lost. I'm pissed off. Samuel Ford says attacks win you game, defences win you titles. This defence has asked our attack to score an average of 2.7 goals per game this season to win. Guts Doyle says someone gets chances created by Dogo and Delo, building attack on 2 players that create a goal scoring chance once a year. Fucking insanity. He's done a lot super chats, Guts Doyle. I don't think he's too happy.
Yeah, he's not the biggest fan of Ruben Amorim, I can tell.
Francis Orcolejandro says anyone who doesn't see or acknowledge the progress or growth Amorim has brought in have not been watching United for the last 12 to 13 years. Way of Words says, we lost it all in the defence and Bruno's getting injured, didn't help us. Good to see the youngsters getting a chance though. Yeah, I am pleased to see that. What did you make of that? Jack Fletcher, I think I missed out Jack Fletcher when I spoke earlier. Jack Fletcher coming on, Shea Lacey coming on. Amrim obviously had this little thing with the academy, didn't he, in the week about his comments about the sense of entitlement, the comments that he made about Harry Amas, about Toby Collier, about Chido Obe, caused a little bit of a furore, didn't it, on social media, and the manager answered a few questions regarding it. I mean, today was a day where he went, look, when we needed a goal, when we needed when we had injuries, he went with the youngsters, didn't he? I mean, you could argue he didn't have loads of choices, but
he didn't have any choice.
He did. He did at least throw the dice with him, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't have any other options, but he didn't have to make subs.
No.
So it's nice to see. We all want to see youngsters, but realistically, what we actually want to see is youngsters who are good enough.
Yeah, no.
And that's not to say by any means that we know whether Shea Lacey and Jack Fletcher are good enough or not, but what I mean by that is he has to win games and he has to do what's right to win games right now for Man United, because otherwise he's going to lose his job and United are going to be at the start of another project. So the great thing is I'm hopeful that Shea Lacey in particular is good enough to win us games and is a very good player. But I think what he needs to do is take the chances that he as a manager, take the chances when they are there. This was almost a free hit for Amrim, because he wasn't leaving someone more senior on the bench. We literally were down to Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey, but he was willing to roll the dice, and I'm glad he was, because the amount of stick he would have got if he didn't would have been insane. So I think he did all the right things today, the manager. I want to see Man United winning games, and long term that's all that matters, but we have to build through the stages. There was a point under Ten Hag where I thought we might be back here.
Yeah.
We were on a 7th. I think we'd lost 1 in 18 games. United were up to 3rd. We had a Carabao Cup final to look forward to, which we won. And United were as good as we've been in a decade, or certainly on paper. But when we actually tried to transition into a team that attacked games like this and went for it in games like this, we couldn't do it. We looked completely wide open. We looked like we couldn't make enough chances to win games. It was really poor. I like that what Amrim's done is from the start, he's had us playing in a way where we can build and we can build into it and become a team that controls games. And today, we had more of the ball, we had more shots, more XG, more everything. We were the better team today. And yes, under another manager, we could have maybe sat back, counter-attacked and got a draw. But I think long-term, if we want to go back to winning games and winning titles, you have to be the better team in games, not better at scrapping for a win or sort of scraping a win. So I think we're being set up in a way that is going to be better long-term. Whether it's Amrim or another manager, United have to go back to thinking like a big team again. And I do think we're doing that. So that's a big positive for me. And hopefully, as we said before, some of these academy lads can be a part of it on the way as well, because it would be the ultimate thing to see Shea Lacey being a big part of United's next Premier League winning team. That would be the perfect dream, wouldn't it, obviously?
It's great to see both Fletcher and Lacey, but Lacey's had so many injuries, and it was a time when he looked like the next guy, the next big thing. Everyone was raving about him. You know, that England, I think it was under 17s team where it was him, Ethan Nweri, Miles Lewis-Skelly have obviously gone on to do good things for Arsenal, and he was the one everyone was looking at and going, this is the guy. Then he gets injuries, loads of little injuries that keep him out, and you know, when you're progressing at that age, it's not what you want to see. So he's got through that. He's had a lot of games now of late, and then to get himself into the first team squad is fantastic. Getting on the pitch, had a shot, then it was straight to keeper. But
that
do you know what I mean?
You know when he was winding up for that.
I know. At least there's a little bit of confidence there, even though it was like straight at Miners. But no, great to see. I do want to talk about Benjamin Cesco. There's a lot of comments.
Okay.
Quite critical of him. I think most comments have been a bit critical. Some are like, constructive criticism. Others just saying he ain't good enough. Where do you stand on Benjamin Cesco? Because today felt like a moment for him, a big game. We need him to step up. Didn't quite happen for him. What do you make of Cesco so far?
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we'd seen more from him. Like, you always want to sign Haaland, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, that's what you want. You want to sign Van Nistelrooy, you want to sign Rooney, you want to sign, these Van Persies who come in and they get a goal a game and they're a huge success. Like, that's what you want. That isn't happening. I don't think he is that sort of player. I don't think he's ever going to get us 40 goals in a season. Probably never get us 30.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's someone that does a lot of good things. I think he holds space well. I think when he came on and had that shot one-on-one with the keeper, I don't think he did a lot wrong.
No.
I think he got in a good area. He made a good run in behind.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the ball didn't go in. But I do think there's still signs of positivity there. It's just, I don't know, what do you think to him? Because it isn't. We can't sit here and say it's been amazing. He's not having loads of chances and scoring loads of goals, is he?
No.
So what do you make of him?
I like what I see. I think he's a good player. I'd like to see him score more goals. I think he needs more goals as a striker playing for Manchester United. You do need goals. It becomes a thing. We saw it happen with Rasmus Højlund. I do think he's a step up from Højlund. I know some people are saying we've just basically bought Højlund 2.0. I don't agree with that at all. And I think the goals will come. I think we've seen enough to see there's a player there. I just think we need to work out what sort of a team we are going forward. And it's very difficult at the minute when we're constantly changing. Well, 1 minute it's, you've got Boom, obviously they've gone to the AFCON now. You've got Ahmad's in the 10 and Ahmad's in the wing back. Then you've got Mount's in the 10, and at times Mount's not been in the side. It's been Cunha's in the 10. Then you've got times Cunha's up front, and obviously Cesco's coming in there. We just change it a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think at times you can it looks like a team that changes a lot, and it looks a little bit disjointed. But I think if he gets a decent run in the side, keeps himself fit. Now, with the AFCON and everything else that's going on, the injuries we've got, you'd expect him to start most games.
Yeah.
Get a bit of a run going, get some goals. And I'm exaggerating it. All will be forgiven for your detractors once you start scoring. That's all we want to see. We just want to see him playing regularly and scoring goals. And I think he's got the ability to do that. I really do. Go on.
What do you think, from what you've seen so far, would be like the best version of him? Do you think he's a kind of get it, smack it, scoring most weeks kind of player, or do you think he's always going to be someone that is, doing his best work sort of on the edge of the box, bringing others in and getting 15, 20 goals a season?
I think he can score a lot of goals.
Do you?
I do. And I think he gets himself in good positions, and we've seen that almost every time he's played.
Yeah.
He's had one or two chances where you think maybe he could or should have scored. Now that might look like a criticism, and in some respects it is, but the fact he's getting chances. One worrying thing for me with Højlund last season was the time when he wasn't getting. I think was it the Fulham game at Old Trafford in the FA Cup where he had no shots on target, no shots off target. Chido Obi comes on and he didn't set the world alight, but I think within sort of 20 minutes he'd had 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
And that's a 17-year-old. I think it might have even been his debut. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. And also there was times when the manager was playing Kobbie Mainoo up front rather than Højlund, and you think, Jesus Christ, he just doesn't rate you at all. There's got to be something in that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Cesco, you can see there's a player there. Yes, he needs to get better, but let's not forget, 3 weeks ago, not even that, 2 weeks ago, everyone's on Cunha's case. He's got 1 in 16 games. This ain't good enough. He ain't good enough. We spent 60 million on him. He's not the same player we saw at Wolves. Now, look, we've criticised his header today, but he's got another goal. That's 2 in 2.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people going, actually, you know what? You can see he's a bit more like the player we thought we're signing. That's all it takes. Just a couple of good games, a couple of goals, and the narrative shifts, and your confidence is open, and everything. Everyone's behind you. And it's a shame that when he got those goals, was it at Brentford and against Sunderland, was it?
Yeah,
I forget
so.
the games. Back to back, you thought, oh, this is it. And then he didn't. He got an injury, and it's just, now he's sort of, he's struggling to get a run of games. But I think there's a player there, and I'm not too concerned. I just hope that he starts scoring sooner rather than later, because United's only option for winning football matches at the minute seems to be scoring lots of goals, because we're going to concede. I don't think we're going to get any wins by winning 1-0. No. I think that's not happening for us. I think we're going to win by beating Kevin Keegan's Newcastle 3-2 or 4-3 or whatever, because that seems to be the only way Manchester United are going to get wins on the board. So listen, I'm here for it if it happens, because wins are wins and loads of goals is, I'm not going to moan about it, but we need Benjamin Cesco to be part of that.
And also, too often we aren't winning because
it's not. That isn't a tactic that's ever going to have any longevity.
Yeah.
But right now, that seems to be the only way
the only option,
we're going to get a win is outscoring. I know you have to outscore the opposition to get any wins, but we're not going to get many 1-0s. We've had 1 clean sheet all season, which is abysmal. But even today, you see it and you think the only way United are going to win games is if we just score at least 3 goals, to be honest with you, because we usually concede at least 1, if not 2. I'm going to get into some of the chat before I wrap up. People saying about Guts Doyle, he's done a lot of super chats today. He's obviously not too happy. Mad Dragon says, lots of Team McCullough here. We should just give you guys a call when we start winning again. Sam Sargent says, genuinely don't get it. We concede from every attack, every game. We do concede a lot, don't we? It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ian Ratio says, saw it coming, we are a mid-table team. Next season, we could see improvement if we keep Amorim. Yeah, a bit of a... What's happened to Euro? Says plugged in. We've already spoke about that. Euro didn't have one of his better games today. He just needs to... he just needs to get back to the Lenny Euro we saw last season, because I thought he was a very good player, and I thought he was the only one who emerged from any credit in that Europa League final. And he is a good player. We're not getting massively carried away. He's a good player, learn his craft. He's still a youngster. Yes, he's a youngster with experience and costs a lot of money, but it's not out when you've got a constantly changing sort of defence alongside you, which it has. You have to do other things. It is a difficult league. I'm not making excuses for the kid, but I'm not worried about Lenny Euro. Joe, I enjoyed that. Always a pleasure, never a chore. I think he's just one of them. He just can win some matches, man.
I know.
Just sit here after
the thing is, we can all say, if you play like this every week, we'll win more matches than we lose. The effort's there, the work rate's there. There's things we need to work on defensively still, 100%. And I'm not saying we were amazing today by any means, but we made chances. We were on top. We had more of the ball. We had more. We limited them to very few good chances away at one of the best teams in the league. That's not bad. It's a shame that the luck of the draw and the dice rolls went their way in some of those big moments. But in terms of performances and chances, they have to not let their heads get down and start slipping back into this jogging about stuff, because these last couple of games, you got 1 point from both of them, and I think there's a lot of good signs in each game. Yeah. We just have to cut out the shit. That's the problem, and that's the next thing. That's the next step, isn't it? Like you said, defending.
Newcastle at home is a big one. Yeah. That's going to be... If we don't win that, that'll be 4 consecutive home games without a win. And
we've got to win.
That is going to be a difficult one to defend or to stomach. So we need a win against the Newcastle side, who are very erratic, to be honest with you. Joe, love chatting to you. Go and check out the Sloppy Joe's podcast. Just film one today, have you?
Yeah.
When's that out?
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, there you go. A bit of a Boxing Day special. So go and subscribe to that channel if you're not doing it already. Make sure you're checking out the merch. As you may have guessed, you won't be able to get it in time for Christmas Day, but you certainly get yourself some merch on the Stretford Paddock store website. There'll be a link in the description. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Moy. This has been a review. Manchester United losing 2-1 at Villa Park. Thanks for watching.